So I changed my mind. At first, I wasn't going to record a review on Collision. I said to myself, let's do it on a bigger show like Dynamite, because, I mean, in reality, it'd probably be Raw, but I'm working one day, so I can't do anything about that. But you know what? I watched the first match between Christian, Luchasaurus, and Darby Allin, and I said, what the hell? Let's review Dynamite tonight. Let me give you guys something to go home or ride your car or whatever you do in the daytime when no one's looking. You know, I'm not judging you. I think you're awesome still. This triple threat match with Darby Allin and Christian and Luchasaurus was a glorified handicap match. I guess that was the whole point of the stipulation, because they felt like they couldn't do a handicap match for the World Championship, or I guess the TNT Championship, which would have been hella interesting. This match was super fun. I know I said AEW earlier really is super boring right now at the moment, and I still hold that same sentiment. But I like to exclude some names, and one of those names happened to be Christian Cage. I hate seeing really good work like this for a lower tier title like the TNT Championship. That belt is so meaningless right now, it's not even funny. But I will say, it being involved in this story, quite frankly, it being involved with Christian Cage elevates that belt like wholeheartedly, like up a few notches. And my God, Christian is so good. He's so good. He's the definition of a veteran. You know, people were talking earlier about, oh, you know, when it's all said and done, Dolph Ziggler, the guy who just got fired because, you know, he sucks, he's going to go down as one of the best mid-card wrestlers of all time. They said the same thing about Shelton Benjamin. All this other kind of stuff. Most underrated, best mid-card, all this other kind. No, that goes to Christian Cage. Christian Cage might, for me at least, be the most underrated wrestler in the history of professional wrestling. To put in this amount of work for something like the TNT Championship, I gotta say, man, that takes a lot of I don't want to say what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say courage, because that sounds kind of stupid. Maybe a lot of cojones, but that sounds like it's pretty much courage also. I don't know, you know, like, because he's such a big name, or at least compared to the tower that he's actually, you know, trying to elevate, for him to kind of break himself down, I can't think of the word right now, but, you know, that's who he is. If you can think of the word, tell me in the comment, that's who he is. Christian is that person, or that thing, or that descriptor that I can't think of the word right now. But otherwise, I love the little spot also during the match where you had Luchasaurus and he's like holding the championship, and like he's been the champion this entire time. I mean, Christian's coming out with the belt and all this other kind of stuff, but it's Luchasaurus' title, and like he touches the belt for the first time. Like, I guess Darby Allin threw the belt in the ring, or maybe Christian did, I can't remember the spot, and it's like laying there in the middle of the ring, and Luchasaurus picks up the belt for the first time, and he's like looking at the belt, and he's like holding the belt, and he's like, wow, this is my belt. And Christian's like, can you give me back that belt? And Luchasaurus like kind of turns his back on him and still looking at the belt like, man, this is actually mine. I love that spot to death. That was a really good spot. The crowd was popping really huge for it, and I guarantee you that was a Christian Cage idea. I bet my bottom dollar that was Christian's idea. Good spot. Love the match, which a bit, the finish essentially came where what was it? I think Darby Allin, I think he hit Luchasaurus with the coffin drop, and then Christian came back in the ring and threw Darby out of the ring, and then pinned Luchasaurus to win the championship. Again, awesome stuff. And then Lucha like put him on his shoulders, and people were kind of like silent for a second. It's like, is he gonna drop him or no? But he's just celebrating with him the entire time. And they showed a little bit of a replay from all the stuff that happened on Rampage with Sammy Guevara, because he turned his back on Jericho on what was it, Wednesday, I think. He did the whole WrestleMania 19 spot with him kicking Jericho in the nuts and then pie facing him, kind of like a reverse role type of deal. I mean, because remember, like Jericho and Shawn Michaels, Jericho kicked Shawn in the nuts and pie faced him, but Sammy's like playing the role of Jericho, and Jericho now is playing the role of Shawn Michaels. And I guess they're all associated with the Darn Callis family, and you know, this Wrestle Dream pay-per-view, which is coming up next week, which no, I'm not reviewing that show, by the way. It's going to be a 6-man tag match with Don Callis' family being Sammy Guevara, Takeshita, whatever the hell his name is, Takeshita, calling that for now, and Will Ospreay taking on Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, and a returning Kota Ibushi. Sounds like fun, right? Not to me though. But regardless though, good stuff so far tonight. We got a tag team match coming up with RVD and Hook versus I didn't pay attention. So let's get to that match right now. So I got something to admit. I gotta come clean. The real reason why I'm actually reviewing this show is because I really want to watch the Ricky Starks and Daniel Bryan match. I heard so much about the strap match last week, or was it 2 weeks ago? I can't remember. I heard so much about it and I never watched it, and I feel like I'm kicking myself in the face because I heard how brutal it was, and I love matches like that. Kicking myself every time for not watching that match. So honestly, this is my opportunity to make up for it, and I figure if I'm gonna do this, and you know, hey, gotta start over on the channel, right? Might as well just make it a part of the catalog so I can say that, hey, this is a part of my channel. I got something with the Ricky Starks and Bryan Danielson matches on hand. Like, so I really want to review this match. So I gotta admit, this is probably the primary reason why I'm watching this show. This is the primary reason why I'm reviewing this show, is because I want to see Bryan Danielson versus Ricky Starks. But going into the tag team match, the preliminaries, if you will, we had Rob Van Dam teaming up with Hook to take on 2.0, I guess, EV 2.0. I don't fucking know their names. The Canadian dudes who used to be with Jericho, and now they're with Jake Hager and Anna Jay, Annabelle, whatever. The match in itself was something to write home about. I mean, honestly, whenever I see Rob Van Dam nowadays, especially in AEW in more particular, I just pop for the Pantera theme, honestly. I can't be the only one, right? Look, RVD is not the same performer as he used to be about 20 years ago, which, by the way, oh my god, I don't know if it was the Riccaboni dude from ROH who was announcing, or maybe it was Nigel McGuinness. I don't know if it was Kevin Kelly on the call. I don't know, but someone made reference of a match with Taz and Rob Van Dam teaming up together to kind of link everything up together, because, you know, RVD's teaming up with his son Hook. And it was Taz and RVD versus Kurt Angle and Chris Jericho in some match in 2001. I'm going to assume, just given the timeline, it's Taz, RVD, Jericho, Kurt Angle. Ironically enough, that could have been around this time, because I'm going to just put I could be wrong, but just putting 2 and 2 together, you know, if Jericho is across the ring from RVD and Taz is still actively competitive, this is during the Alliance angle, obviously. I'm going to presume this is around August, September-ish of 2001, because Jericho, you know, he wrestled RVD in the Hardcore for the Hardcore Championship at Unforgiven that year. So I'm gonna assume it's around that time frame. But just the way they're talking about it, I'm just like, ugh, no, I'm not gonna have it. Elizabeth, I'm coming, Elizabeth, I'm coming. Like, my God, they had to make it sound like it was dinosaur ages. It wasn't. I mean, yeah, it was like 22 years ago, but 2001 does not feel like it was 22 years ago at all. It really does. And it was really making me sad hearing them talk like it was such a long freaking time ago. It's like, God damn, I was like 9 or 10 or 11 at the time. I was like, God damn, it wasn't that long ago, but okay, fine, whatever. Go get McCain and, you know, you damn kids, get off the damn lawn. But no, RVD ended up hitting a frog splash on one of the EVP 2 jobbers and got the win. And, you know, again, by the way, Hook with the little championship belt. Can he get rid of that belt already? That belt is so meaningless. If you're not going to do anything with it, is that sanctioned? I don't think that's a sanctioned title, right? I think the sanctioned titles are still the World Championship, International Championship, TNT Championship, Tag Team Championship, and the Women's Championship, right? That should be your 5 belts right there. I mean, I have no problem doing something with the FTW Championship. I look at it and it kind of looks like it'd be a nice little hardcore type of championship if they did something with it. But if it's just going to be something that's nothing, I mean, it has about as much meaning as CM Punk's World Championship, which had absolutely no meaning whatsoever, and it was a complete joke. So yeah, it is what it is. I just thought that the references to this match, as far as what was going on and all the stuff regarding Hook's championship, which is literally just namesake for the most part, it doesn't really mean anything, was, yeah, you know, I won't say that. It is what it is. It was fine, I guess. But seriously, fuck the announcement team for making me feel like I'm fucking 3,000 years old. Goddamn bastards. So I don't usually do this. I'll make it more of a thing going forward in the channel versus how I used to do it on the old channel. But I'll start reviewing the women matches more often if I feel compelled to. Like this match with Julia Hart versus Kiera, I used to have Booty Hogan. The match was actually pretty bad. I don't really care for the match though. It's the fact that Julia Hart had a character. See, this is what I talk about all the time when I touch on it so hard. Character. Character. It could mask the worst in people. It can make the bad look super duper good. Look at someone like a LA Knight. The dude isn't really what I would call a Kurt Angle or a Chris Benoit 1 hour Iron Man match technician, but because he has so much character and so much charisma, or what do the kids say nowadays? He has the Riz. That in itself can cover up all his fallacies. It can make the bad look super duper good. I just repeated myself twice. Go on with the flow, folks. Okay, we're back with the Dynamite reviews. Wait, no, Collision. Whatever. Continuing on. Regardless, though, with this match with Julia Hart versus Kiera Hogan, it was bad, but it was just nothing more just to push the match between Julia Hart and Chris Statlander. And to be quite frank, Julia Hart should win the championship. For one, I forgot Chris Statlander was even with the company, let alone the champion. And two, she actually has something that can actually make that championship mean something. I mean, the TBS champion, I mean, honestly, this whole time it's weird. I just did a video on Jade Cargill going to WWE, and in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking that Jade Cargill's the TBS championship, or the TBS champion. It just tells you how good Chris Statlander is with the championship belt currently right now, which is absolutely nothing. Yet you guys want to always put it on people who are the underdogs. Well, this is what the underdog gets you, okay? When you're a person with no character and all you have going for you is your wrestling moves, all you have going for you is your actual girl next door appeal. I mean, that's not even to say you're sexy, just so you have a girl next door appeal. It doesn't get you anywhere, man. Doesn't get you anywhere. But, you know, after the match with Kiera Hogan, Sky Blue came out, which, by the way, another one with a very underwhelming booty. Like, you guys were saying all this, oh, look at this picture of her and her cheeks. Maybe it was just an up-close photo or an up-close video or whatever the case may be, because I seen her butt right there, and that was not nearly as big as I thought it was going to be. It could be the pants also, probably with the pants, but regardless, she got in the ring, tried to confront Julia Hart, who was standing right behind Brody King, and then like Brody King stepped to the side, and then Julia Hart sprayed some black mist in her eyes and blinded her, which just made and just completely null and voided the hell out of Sky Blue. Like, why the hell did you even come out if that was going to be the purpose? But nevertheless, they challenged Chris Statlander to a match at Wrestle Dream next week for the TBS Championship. Again, cross my fingers, hoping that Julia Hart gets her chance on that championship belt, because she'll probably do a lot more wonders with that belt, being with the House of Black, than Chris Statlander is currently doing right now. And also, this new tag team, they call themselves, man, I forgot their name already. Starts with an R, The Redemption, some bullshit like that. I don't know. I honestly, Salvation, I don't know. It's some biblical term I can't remember right now. They're going to be taking on MJF and Adam Cole next week at a Wrestle Dream. The gimmick, like, I'm trying to pinpoint, like, well, I can't pinpoint the gimmick. Or I think it was the Righteousness, if I remember, actually, now that I think about it. I think they're called the Righteous or the Righteousness. But their gimmick, it's kind of hard to pinpoint. It's like a combination of maybe like the Wyatt family. That's what I get. I get like really, really strong Wyatt family vibes, and like the Briscoe brothers. That's am I tripping thinking that? Like, it's like a hybrid of the Wyatt family and the Briscoe brothers, because that's what they are. They're just a hybrid of with the way they cut their promos, and you know, the quick shots and all this stuff. That's blatant rip off of the Wyatt family vignettes that were happening when Bray and the rest of them came in 2013. But the way they conduct themselves and the way they talk is very Briscoe brother-esque, maybe with a little bit of a dash of Juice Robinson's old gimmick when he used to be in NXT, kind of like the hippie Briscoe brothers, like hippie Southern Briscoe brothers, I guess is the best way to say it. Regardless, so they're going to be wrestling MJF and Adam Cole at the next Wrestle Dream pay-per-view. So good luck to them, and hopefully they win. I don't know, man. Maybe a compelling gimmick going for. I won't judge them before I see them. But with that being said, let's get back to the show. All right, so let's just run down this really, really quick, because I want to get ready for the Daniel Bryan and Ricky Starks match. So I'm just going to combine all three segments into one, because I was washing clothes and I didn't get the opportunity to break it down like I really want to as far as segments are considered. So let's just run down this really, really quick. We had a one-on-one match with Andrade El Idolo versus Jay White. And what I will call, and pretty much, you know what, let's just throw in the tag team match with the FTR tag team match, because I don't know who the other team was. I forgot who they were. because there are no name jobbers in the end of the day. I mean, this is all just building up to the Aussie Open match that they're gonna have with, well, Aussie Open next, I think Sunday at the Dream Show. I'm not even sure. I'm pretty sure next Sunday that's where they're gonna have the match at. But if I could just wrap these two matches into one, I'm going to, because they just ran back to back like this. You need. I bitched about this earlier in the other AEW video, but you need actual story, man. It's look, no matter how good a match is, there's only so many matches you can have that are really, really good. You feel me? Like, it's like eating pizza, bro. I love pizza. Pizza is awesome. It's my favorite food item in the damn world. At the same time, though, if you give me pizza every single damn day, eventually, no matter if it's my favorite food of all time, I'm gonna get sick and tired of it. That's exactly how I look at these matches right here. It's not to say that Andrade El Idolo versus Jay White or the FTR tag team matches weren't decent. It's just that we see this all the goddamn time. It's the same damn type of match. It doesn't really switch up at all. It's literally spot, outside of the ring, spot, false finish, spot, false finish, spot, false finish, spot, false finish, roll up, or distraction, or something. It's so boring and blasé, man. Even if they are good matches at the end of the day, it's so boring and blasé that I can actually wrap up both of these matches into one segment and look at both of them and give you my entire opinion of both matches. If you care, though, the finish of the Andrade match was he had him in a figure 8, Charlotte's figure 8, and Juice Robinson came in the ring and hit him with I don't even know what the hell it looked like a briefcase or something, but he hit him in the face with it, and then Jay White picked him up and hit him with the Sister Abigail. I don't know what he calls it, but it's Bray Wyatt's old finisher. And then the next match with FTR, honest to God, I didn't even catch the finish. I'm pretty sure they beat him with the big rig. Look, it just gets boring. I want to see more. There's so much more to wrestling, bro. You know what actually is more to wrestling? This next segment right here with them finally interviewing Lana. I don't know. I guess she's gonna go by her real name, CJ Perry in AEW. But she had an interview and they kept introducing her as hot and flexible, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's so cringe. But at the same time, you know, she's talking, and I guess now she's gonna play the whole manager role. I remember someone having a gimmick like this back in the day, so maybe it was in like reverse. You guys remember that whole gimmick where like Macho Man Randy Savage back in the 80s, he was looking for a manager, and like everybody was like vying for his what's the word I'm looking for right now? I can't think of anything tonight. They were like offering him like, hey, let me manage you, and eventually he settled on Miss Elizabeth. Great gimmick, by the way. That was an awesome angle. Well, it was kind of like the same thing here, but kind of in reverse, where like, you know, Lana's like, I'm gonna go find clients who I can they can vie for my services. Just promise me, Rusev, that you're not gonna go around beating the crap out of all my clients. And the way they were talking in the dialogue sounded like a cheesy porno. I swear to God, from the hot, flexible, and all this other stuff to the talking about temptations and stuff. I swear to God, I was waiting for the boom, do. If you know what that means, you know what that means. If you don't know what that means, you're too young to know what that means. But yeah, it was fine. I guess I liked the segment a little bit. It was fun. It was a lot better than those other two matches. It broke up the monotony of the show. But other than that, though, yeah, it is what it is. But let's get to the main event, because that's what I really want to watch right now, is this main event. All this other stuff were just preliminaries and all this stuff. Man, my hair is screwed up to the fucking T. I gotta get my hair done again. But yeah, let's get to the main event, folks. Come on. Man, I really wish I knew where to find that damn leather strap match. I cannot find that match anywhere right now, because that match right there, that death match, that kicked a lot of ass. That was really, really fun. And that finish was so goddamn nasty. Because the thing with Ricky Starks, and this is why I very much enjoyed this match and why I want to find their leather strap match, because I knew they were going to have a kind of match like this. When you watch them, it's very... And I've never said that Ricky Starks was a bad performer. He's never been a bad performer, but he's upped his game. If he's going to carry his matches like this, he upped his game up tremendously. They wrestled this match so goddamn stiff, so goddamn hard-hitting. They beat the shit out of each other in this match. Ring bell shots, still chains being used, still chair shots, but it wasn't just like your Jon Moxley, we're being gross for the sake of being gross type of match, right? There was actual reasoning for why they did the spots that they did. There was no cliche behind it. There was no thumbtacks or overly disgusting spots. It was using the weapons in order to upgrade whatever move that they were doing. It wasn't just throwing people on thumbtacks for the sake of throwing people on thumbtacks or going through tables for the sake of going through tables. No. For an example, him using the Busaku knee, Bryan Danielson is in the finish with the chain around his knee, there was a purpose behind it. You feel me? Him putting Ricky Starks on the chair and stepping on his neck over and over and over again while his head kept ricocheting off the chair that was underneath him. There was a purpose behind that. You feel me? And the way Ricky Starks beat the shit out of Daniel Bryan early on in the match with the stiff shots with the ring bells and the punches, and I like the spot also where you had Ricky Starks being choked out in the label lock, so he tried to go for a spear on Bryan Danielson, and Bryan Danielson reversed that into a label lock. Very Chris Benoit Rhino-esque. I don't know if you guys remember that match back in 2003, one of the better finishers I think I've ever seen, where Rhino went for a gore, and then like while he's in mid-spear and he's going full force, Benoit just grabbed his arm and just wrenched it down and locked in a cripple crossface. Could have knocked his arm out of socket, honestly, when you think about it. But the same thing kind of happened here. Maybe a little bit weaker because it is Ricky Starks versus Rhino. But Ricky Starks tried to go for a spear, and Bryan Danielson drugged him down with a Fujiwara, locked in the label lock, and he pulled the chain around his neck. Very similar to how he got the win during their strap match. But he almost made him pass out, but Ricky Starks fought back, got on top of him, and I love the fire up spot from Ricky Starks, where his fire up was he's going to reverse it. He gets on top of Bryan Danielson, and he just starts throwing hands at him, just start fucking duking him up, and then Bryan Danielson will float him over and just starts elbowing him in the face, elbowing him in the face, elbowing him in the face, and Bryan Danielson is leaking blood and all this other kind of stuff. But my favorite spot, I forgot what he did in particular to make him bleed from his mouth, but like he started to just, I think it was the steel chair, or I think actually it was the steel chair thing, because Ricky Starks had a steel chair in his hand, and he threw the chair in Bryan Danielson's face earlier on in the match, but then Bryan Danielson tried to go for a running knee this time, and it looks like Ricky was going to throw the chair in his face again, but he ricocheted the chair out of his hands back into his face, and I think that's what busted open Ricky Starks. And then he started doing the whole little kick knee to the face thing, like when he holds your arms then he starts kicking you in the face. He did it to Ricky Starks while he was underneath the chair, like I notated before. And Ricky, I just love how the blood was splurting out of his mouth with each kick. And when he was done, Ricky Starks dazed out of it, but he had the wherewithal to just give Bryan a bloody loogie spit right in his shit, which just irated Bryan, and he just started stepping even harder, just fucking him up. And then the spot came where he wrapped the chain around his knee, and then he gave him a Busaku knee with the chain around his knee, and at that point Ricky couldn't get up anymore. A Texas Death match is essentially like a last man standing submission match, and he couldn't get back up for the 10 count, and Bryan Danielson won the match. And then after the match, you had Big Bill come out to console Ricky Starks. I think Willa Yuta came out to console Bryan Danielson, and like Ricky Starks is up, but he's dazed, but he still wants to fight Bryan, and Willa Yuta's trying to protect him, and Big Bill gets involved, and that's how they go off the air. It was a fantastic match. I absolutely loved it. One of my favorite TV matches of the year so far, by far. That was a great match. And you know what? I said to myself I wasn't going to review Wrestle Dream. I'm not going to review Wrestle Dream still, but Zack Sabre Jr. is going to fight Daniel Bryan. And I missed that match last year. I think they were supposed to have a match last year. I remember having a community post on that. I'm watching that match. I don't have to review it, but I am going to watch that match. As a fan, that's one of my dream matches of the last decade, is watching Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. And now that they're actually going to go out there and fight, I mean, I kind of wish that Bryan Danielson's arm wasn't all messed up and whatnot, because I would like to see him at his 100%. But I know Bryan Danielson's going to deliver also, so it's like, there's a part of me that's kind of like skeptical, but then at the same time, it's still Bryan Danielson. So I'm willing to give that. I'm saying I'm willing to give it a chance. Like, it's not going to be a good match, so I can't wait to see that. But with that being said, that's going to be the end for the Dynamite Collision. I'm sorry. That's going to do it for the Collision review. I'm glad to be back reviewing Dynamite, AEW, Collision, WWE Raw, SmackDown, whatever, pay-per-view, Schfinkter, pay-per-view special, extravaganza. I'm back, and I'm better than ever, folks. Hopefully this camera thing really works out, because I kind of want to do some more stuff as far as presentation is considered to make this feel a little bit more better. But for now, you guys got your review. Let me know down in the comment section below how you felt about Collision tonight, and I will see you guys later. Deuces. Peace.